That's that.
That's it. And use it for what it's here for, to be a learning device and to express Christ's mind. So very good. All right. Well, Zuma Gonzalez, I'm going to turn this mic over to you, my friend. And hopefully, oh, there's Regis. I thought maybe some other folk might show up sooner or later. Anyway, here we go. Zuma, this mic is yours. And use it for what.
Yeah, there we go. Re-recording. Hi. Good. What is this? A grand rising, a magnificent Monday, marvelous, majestic, momentous, monumental. The only June 3rd, 2024 we're going to get. I say good morning to Regis, who's here in the room with me, and on Pal Talk, to Dove and Lynn, of course, and Christopher. Hi, Christopher, and Cindy, and Delia. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, great to see you all. Great to be here. So my mind is a little frazzled. I'm a little frazzled. I don't know why my mind is frazzled. It could be because I had such a great time yesterday. I was active and busy, and it was a full day. I got invited to a concert all the way in Newark, New Jersey, which was almost an hour and a half ride, and it was a great Spanish speaking group called Aventura. Um, Phenomenal. It was a great show. We were in a VIP box, my first time ever experiencing that. That was really good. Um, that was really good. It's just a fun time. We had a fun time. Um, let's see. I was here Thursday, so let's see what I. My sister made her transition on Friday, and that was it. That was good. That was good. So I don't. So in my mind, I don't have to no more countdown. In her mind, no more countdown. When and how long and how's it going to be and all that kind of stuff. And um, it was really good. And that I our nephew who has been like a son to her since the day they met. We met the day we met them in 2020 during the COVID epidemic. I met a set of twin nephews, um, and fantastic. And one of them, who happens to live in New York too, attached himself to her like glue. He became her right hand. He did for her what no one else was able to do. No other family member was able to do because no other family member lived nearby. Um, that was capable. I'll say it that way. And yeah, so um, she she I knew he came back to Texas. Hi, Michaela, Mickey. He came back to Texas, and I knew that she wasn't gonna make her transition until. Oh, I see your fan. I see. That was cool. Um, uh, I knew that she wasn't gonna make her transition until after he came back, and sure enough, he came back Friday afternoon, Friday evening. She said, "All right, enough. I'm out." Um, so I'm happy for her in that regard, and happy for all of us who are not going through that thing again. So now that you're up to date on my life, tell me about yours. No, just kidding. Uh, oh, we reminded that we are A Course in Miracles meets Science of Mind, and not just science of mind, but other mental sciences, metaphysical teachings. Metaphysical meaning simply that it's beyond the physical. So in that, it puts A Course in Miracles in there. Course in Miracles meets Science of Mind. I'm trying to slides around a little bit today. Um, the Kingdom of Heaven. Oh, I want this in slideshow mode. The Kingdom of Heaven is within you, and whoever shall find it, rather, the kingdom of heaven is within you, and whoever shall know himself shall find it. And that is an Egyptian proverb, despite the fact that it would be easy to think that it's coming from the Bible. No, it went to the Bible after it left Egypt. All right. Of course, we're reminded as always to mind our mind. Or Dr. Ernest Holmes says to learn how to think is to learn how to live. The course teaches that this is a course in mind training. All learning involves attention and study at some level because an untrained mind can accomplish nothing. Thoughts and things are but two ends of the same proposition. Since it is impossible to stop thinking, we cannot stop creating. Our choice is whether we shall make the constructive, or rather create the constructive, or make the destructive. Dr. Ernest says create constructively or destructively. Either way, it's our choice. The best part about that is that we do have choice, and that all things produce form at some level. And and with that, I have a paragraph from the course that grabbed my attention the other day, and it's probably going to be here. It's going to be one of these regular slides from this point, I think. We'll see. Teaching and learning are your greatest strengths. I titled it "Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life," and that's actually the name of the course that Dr. Ernest Holmes had years ago, which ultimately um, became um, the motto, if you will, for Science of Mind, religious science. And Science of Mind is actually the title of a book. Religious science is actually what it's called. There are different forms. So you have the religious science, you have the divine science, you have the Christian science, different ones. Um, and so it's called religious science, which basically I was reading yesterday that religion is the combination of all religions, plural. Actually, religion with a capital R, if you will, is a combination of all religions. It is the truth as it weaves through all of these different um, philosophies, belief systems. Um, but the one thing that keeps on going through each and every one is that there's only one source. Dr. Holmes says there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. From the course, teaching and learning are your greatest strengths now. This is as a result of the whole mind training thing, minding your mind. Teaching and learning are your greatest strengths now because they enable you to change your mind and help others to change theirs. And what's important to me about that is it's not that I'm trying to change other people's minds, because technically I can't. I have no control over what anyone else thinks, although they might think I do. Uh, we have no control over what anyone else thinks. But as a result of, as I was explaining on Thursday, that as a result of changing my way of thinking, my way of living, my way of being, others do as well. Not the being part. I'll retract that, because the being always is. Being always is. As a way of thinking and as a way of um, behaving, those things change because those are tangibles. Those are temporaries. Those are things that come to pass. The way I think changes all the time, sometimes faster than I realize it. Like, wait, what was I just thinking about? Have you done that? I guess I don't know if that's a older age thing or an awareness of it. I find myself asking myself, what was I just thinking about? I forgot. Or and I love it when the flash thoughts come, and then you go to act on it, and in that split second another thought passes through and the flash is gone. That's why it's written 727 times in the Bible that it came to pass. All right. So I can't help others change. I can't make others change their minds, but help in the way that I'm there. I'm available. I am uh, willing to share, always willing to share um, my philosophy, without attempting to impose it on others. And I am fortunate enough to be able to talk to people in a way that, regardless of what denomination, I put that in quotation marks, whatever denomination they think they are in, that to make known that we are still all one, that there's only that one source, that one life, and that then the sense of, and that our sense of separation, our sense of the thought of separation is the only lack that we need to correct. I'm able to do that in a way that I can talk to, again, people of so-called denominations and atheists, and because it's still all one life, and I'm seeing it that way, and that energy comes forth and then comes back, and I'm glad to say that. And I had an opportunity yesterday. So anyway, refusing to change your mind will not prove that the separation has not occurred. The dreamer who doubts the reality of his dream while he's still dreaming is not really healing his split mind. You dream of a separated ego and believe in a world that rests upon it. This is very real to you. You cannot undo it by changing your mind about it. If you are willing to renounce the role of guardian of your thought system, I love that, and open it to me, Spirit, I will correct it very gently and lead you back to God. Let the ego thought system go and accept the Holy Spirit thought system, or not attach yourself to the ego thought system, because those thoughts are going to come. Those thoughts that cause us to think separate are going to come. Driving down the street, you see different cars, you see different, traffic lights and different streets and all these differences, but they still all come from the same source. Ultimately, it's the same spiritual DNA, because since the mind of God is our mind, the fact that I'm able to think a thought, the power to be able to do that, the power to be able to change my mind, all that still comes from the one source. Regardless of how I see it, be it with my eyes, be it with vision, it still all comes from the same source. So I love that. Renounce the role of guardian of your thought system. The course says, oh, oh, see there's that thing. Um, to be willing to let go, to be willing to uh renounce yourself, to let yourself go as your own teacher. I can't think of that first word. It starts with an R as well. All of a sudden, this word renounce is the only one here. But resign, that's it. Resign as your own teacher. Renounce the role of guardian of your thought system. But we have been poorly taught, poorly taught. I have a quote for today, I'm going to try to bring one, a today quote. Today, when I seek peace, I find it within. Therefore, I can extend peace anywhere. I choose to extend peace everywhere. And that's by yours truly. The first Sunday of every month is Peace Sunday at the Center of Peace, the Center for Spiritual Living that I attend. And we share 4 different quotes. I have the privilege of finding these quotes and then giving them to whoever's going to be doing the reading on Peace Sunday. And I always want to have every other month is a quote by Ernest Holmes. The other every other month is a quote from the Course, a quote by the metaphysicians, known or unknown, um, a quote by a person of color, and a quote by a woman. And this week, the quote by a woman was mine, um, who happened to be a woman of color, but it didn't matter because I already had another quote. That was a Mahatma Gandhi quote, that in our gentleness, we can shake the world. Oof, thought that was great. Okay. Um, Also from Tracy Brown, I'd like to share a piece. She has a book called I Turn to Prayer, and she has poetry, verses, prose, And this grabbed my attention this morning. It's called Let Me Be Loved. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, family. Who else is here? I just saw somebody else come in. Um, Help me be, not just do. Help me be, not just do. Now, I always am. I always am. I have to remember that. I always am. I just saw the chat. Thank you, Michaela. And Lynn said, it's never our thought. It's just a passing idea. It's interesting. Lynn and I, just before I came on, we were talking about things that we claim as being ours, and we were talking about the body and how we claim certain things, you know, um, and a lot of the things we claim aren't necessarily things that help us feel good. Um, my migraines or something. There are people who, experience whose bodies experience migraines and they call it theirs, my migraines. Well, you can't get rid of it once you decide to claim it as yours. We were talking about that. Uh, that we always are. We always are. It's not just the doing of us. So the question then becomes, how can you help me be if I already am? And I don't believe that she's saying, help me to become, but help me remember that I am. Help me remember to be, not just to do, that I'm not I'm a spiritual being and a human doing. That's what we are. You hear the expression, having a physical experience and a whatever that is. I like what I just said. We are spiritual beings and human doings. I believe I heard Regis say that first, and I grabbed it from him. Uh, Help me be kind and respectful. And that's interesting because even though everything that comes from me, every expression, the Course teaches that every response I make is determined by what I think I am. So my decision to be kind is really coming from me. My decision to be respectful, and I wonder if that goes in with the self-esteem thing, but my decision to be respectful comes from me. And even as I'm reading this, Let Me Be Loved, I realize that Tracy, Dr. Tracy, is not talking to anything outside herself. She's not saying, so and so, help me be and not just do. Hey, so and so, help me be kind and respectful by you being kind and respectful. No, 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 no. That's not at all what's being expressed here. She's saying she's talking to her inner self, speaking to her own consciousness, her own mind, her own oneness with God, to remember, to remember. Help me be, not just do. Help me be kind and respectful. Help me be patient and compassionate. Why is it that we pray for patience and then when the opportunities come, we become impatient? We pray for this patience and we forget that we're listening. And when it comes time, you decide, not to do, like the frog that decided to jump off a log and never did jump, you know. And the second that the opportunity to be patient or to be compassionate comes, sometimes, and for some, oftentimes, it goes out the window. They didn't mean it. God can't help me. That kind of thing. I'm on my own. There's nobody here. Help me see the good in people. Yes. By seeing this God, recognizing it in myself, seeing my brother as myself, recognizing that I am what he is and she is, she and he are what I am, and we are what God is. And ultimately, help me be love. Yeah, she's talking to herself. Back in 2008, Regina Dawn Akers, I think it was, yeah, oh 08, Regina Dawn Akers and et al. And others had put together, oh, John Mundy was part of that, had put together a wonderful weekend retreat, and it was titled Be the Love. Uh, and that stayed with me, Be the Love. Yeah, be the love that you want to see. Be the peace that you want to see. Be the joy that you want to see. The Course reminds us that only what we don't give is what's lacking. That's all. I have to come down off the screen because I can't see everyone who's here. Who's that? Oh, Regis is here twice. Okay, got it. All right. Um, brother, you have to teach me how to do that. Anyway, help me be love. Help me be love. So I've been just going around finding some stuff and thinking about stuff and just looking at different passages as they come and putting them on on a screen. I was actually thinking about, I'm tired today. I wasn't going to do today. I was going to save and add to this for Thursday. Um, I'm finding myself having too many things to do, and not just be, not enough moments to be. So somewhere, some things are going to have to be um, reduced, and I'm not sure yet what that is. Anyway, I'm reminded that God's will and mine are the same from the Course. Just a couple of sentences to acknowledge that there is no strain in doing God's will as soon as you recognize that it is also your own. There is no strain in doing God's will as soon as you recognize that that same will is your will. God's will and my will are one will. What is that saying? There's nothing separate and apart from God. I cannot be separate and apart from God. I think, for Thursday, maybe I'm going to see about finding more and more passages from the different writers um, on this very topic, because there are more often than not in some circles, I am hearing a lot of reading going on and maybe even study going on, but not a lot of practice. The sleep of forgetfulness shows up the second, which I was saying earlier about, practicing patience and compassion, or yeah, and the second the opportunities come, we totally forget that we have asked for it and that we have the opportunities to do that. The sleep of forgetfulness, the unwillingness to remember. Ooh, unwilling to remember, unwilling to be in peace, unwilling to be in joy, unwilling to express the love that we are, unwilling to express. Yes, in the chat, Regis said, "My idea doesn't make one happy." That's right. What I think, first of all, what I think is not your business, and what you think isn't mine. People say things, and sometimes my own thoughts don't even make me happy. So, but I have nothing to do with what you think. even though I think I do, I attach myself to your thought, I give it value, and then blame you for my thought. No, no. I get to choose. I get to decide how much of it I'm going to grasp and accept. That's my choice. You are afraid of God's will because you have used your own mind, which he created in the likeness of his own. God created my mind in the likeness of his own. It created it like his mind. I'm going to say its mind, like its mind. God created my will in the same to be like it's to be like it, because God's will and my will is one will. It's one will. It's one. There is no spot where God is not. Omnipresent God, right here, right now, always. But I'm afraid of my will because I've used it to miscreate. I have used my mind to miscreate. You are afraid of God's will because you have used your own mind, which he created in the likeness of his own, to miscreate. I have used my mind to miscreate. I have used my mind to think that suffering is real, that it's permanent. Not that it's, not that it's not, that I don't feel it in the moment that it occurs, but that's based on my own thoughts. Those are miscreated thoughts. Because what could I not accept if I but knew that everything that ever happens, past, present, and to come, is gently planned by one whose only purpose is my good, the highest and best for me. But I forget that about the highest and best. I'm caught up in self-esteem issues. I'm caught in, what others think of me, and what happened to me back in the past, and how I can't do this and how I can't do that and all that stuff. I am absolutely using my mind to miscreate. And I think I'm going to play a song. This one, actually, by Eddie Watkins Jr. The song is titled "I Am the Place Where God Shows Up." Oops, did it again. Didn't mean to do that. Back. Stop share. Share screen. Share sound. And there you go. All right.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness. Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. I am the place where God. You are the place. Moves and breathes and has we are the place where God shows up. I am the place.
Ooh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Stop that first. Stop that second. All right. I am the place where God shows up. You, my brother, are the place where God shows up. You are the place where God shows up. Lynn, you are the place where God shows up. There is no spot where God is not. No spot, no place, nowhere, nothing where God is not. Regardless of what you think, doesn't matter. Regardless of what you believe, doesn't matter. Regardless of what you think you know, doesn't matter. We are the place where God shows up. Yes, Regis.
Yeah, one of the things I was saying a lot, I think in 2022 or 3, was you cannot not be in the will of God. And, one of the things we have to ask ourselves is who do we think the voice is that's telling, one of the things that Regina, I really got from her several years ago was she was really reminding us a lot of the spiritual ego that is very religious. We always, the Course in Miracles is not a religion. Oh yeah, but we make it one. We make it one. And the thing with religion is always comparing. Is holding itself up to. That's why it's so judgmental, because the only way it exists is by raising up its own piety against somebody, what it's judging as somebody else's weakness or flaws. And we do it in this community with the teaching itself. You open with, if you are willing to renounce the role of guardian of your thought system and open it to me, to the Holy Spirit. But what we do, we take something from A Course in Miracles, something from Kenneth Wapnick, or we take the figure Jesus and we say, oh, Jesus is this and I'm not. Well, who is that's within me that's making this comparison? Do I think that's the Holy Spirit? Do I really think that is God in me that's comparing me to saying Jesus is better than you? You can't operate like Jesus. And we think we're having spiritual conversations when we do that. When we are really just tearing ourselves down. When I put that in the chat room, when you were talking about the things that you and Lynn talk about, that we say my this, my that, and I put my idea, don't always even make me happy. Just my idea, because those ideas don't make us happy. When I'm sitting here comparing myself to how great Jesus is and how far I missed the mark from what Jesus is, do I really think I'm being spiritual? When we take A Course in Miracles and the spiritual ego pulls out this lesson or this text and says, see that text? That's not you. You falling short of that. You're pitiful. You're pathetic. You can't get this right. Do we really think that's spirit?
Come on.
You know, that's not spirit. That's just spiritual ego doing a number on us. So I say this sometimes that my mighty companions seem to almost appear to think that if they let themselves off the hook, they're going to become a sociopath or something. You know, we this freedom that we have, we seem to work against it. That you cannot not be in the will of God. Whatever that voice is saying, oh, you're not in the will of God. God's will is something over here, and you're trying to do this over here. That whole thought, that whole way of thinking, and that's the miscreation that you were talking about. I'm so glad when you got to that part that you just said before the song about miscreate. You went into the thought system. You didn't go into, oh, I miscreated this lamp. I miscreated this job. It's the whole thought system that I created is the miscreation. And that's the undoing of the thought system, not of this bad marriage or this bad job or this raggedy car. That's not the miscreation that we're talking about. It's that thought system that we have to allow to be undone. And we get hung in it with the spiritual ego, with this comparison game, comparison my judgment of my behavior to something in A Course in Miracles, or to some Kenneth Wapnick said, or to something how Jesus was, and I can't be like Jesus. When he said, greater works shall you do, all that I am, you are. You, you know. And so, but we want to get on this self-abasement trip of saying my behavior and the thoughts and ideas that are running through my mind doesn't line up with this or this person or this deity or this principle or this doctrine. And so we just get in that rabbit hole and we can't find our way out. And God's will and my will are one. And the beautiful song you played, I am the place where God shows up.
Simple as that.
Yep. No matter what the mind is saying, I am the place where God shows up. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. I was just having the conversation. Here's my one. So people follow Jesus, right? But Jesus didn't follow Jesus. Who did Jesus follow? The Father. He always he always said, not me, but the Father dwells in me. Not me. These words I speak are not my own, but the Father who dwells in me. So when I'm talking in the Bible, now I'm using the Bible first. So when it's written that Jesus said, he didn't mean Jesus, that person. He meant because he'd already said, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about the Father that dwelleth in me. And because we are one, I can identify with that and say but I'm talking about where it's the source. I'm always talking about the source. Jesus did not follow Jesus. Period. Otherwise, as you just said, Regis, he could not have said greater works than these you'll do, because the whole pie, rather a slice of the pie, can't call itself the whole pie, because the whole pie is the whole pie. Greater works, the entire pie. More calories in the whole pie than in one slice of the pie. The greater is the all of it. You and me and that person all together are, as the Course calls it, the sonship. It's not the individual. We are individualized expression of the one, but the one is still the one. We can't get away from that. COVID could not have been what it was, and to some extent still is, if it had not been for the oneness, because I can walk past you, I have it, you don't, and now you do. Simple. A breath of air. This breath that I'm exhaling right now can be in Kenya tomorrow, or however long it takes to get there. It's all one. It's just, and we keep thinking. So I used to study astrology before my first uh, study that involved oneness was astrology, because astrology, and I was like 14 when I started studying it, it became my relationship, my understanding that the planets and their influences, whatever, um, and I had a connection. And as much as I had heard over there, oh, that's the devil's working on all that, but yet Psalm, I think, is 19. The heavens are telling the glory of God, and the firmament declares handiwork. Day unto day pours forth speech, etc. It's not. It wasn't. Jesus wasn't saying, "Worship me, worship me, worship me." We're not taught. We weren't taught worship the astrologers, worship the astrologers. That's what the astrologers in the biblical times taught. But that wasn't the case. That's not never really the case. It's the firmament. We're talking about God's handiwork. It's all out here for our learning. It's all out here for our growth. And we get to decide whether we want to create, miscreate, whatever it is. We're still using the same mind of God. Go ahead, Regis. Come on.
So Jesus said, Father, Father, why have you forsaken me? Jesus kicked over the money tables, the tables, and whipped the people out of the temple. But what Jesus didn't do was, after he did those things, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I should know that Father loves me. Why did I do that? Oh, after he turned over kicked over the tables and ran the people out and whipped them out. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I wasn't acting in love. I should have. We don't see that nowhere recorded. Whether you're talking about the historical Jesus or the mythological figurative Jesus, you don't see that. But that's what I see we do. We do. Jesus was just present. He didn't resist. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Oh, Father, why have you forsaken me? I should know better. It's like, but we don't see nowhere recorded in no type of writing where, after he said something, and there, I did a teaching several years ago, the mean sayings of Jesus. It was,
Uh-huh. You brood of vipers, and
yeah,
your
yeah.
father's the devil. Oh yeah, all right,
And
yep, yep.
and nowhere is it recorded that he went back and said, I could have been more gentle. I should have
Uh-huh.
chose my words more carefully. You know, you know. So we get caught in this spiritual crazy cycle of this spiritual ego, and thinking, oh, this behavior was godly, this behavior was not, this behavior was love, this behavior is unloving. Who do we think that voice is in our head that's doing that? Do we think that's the Holy Spirit? We can't.
Yeah.
There's no way we could think that. So think about what you're thinking about.
The ego lives by comparison. The ego lives by comparison. You shouldn't I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that. You shouldn't act that way. You should not behave that way. Shame on you. But see, we've been taught that. And we think that because we've been studying all these years or days, or all this time, that we're over that. I'm past that now. I'm past that. See, because I've been a student of the course for X number of years, because I've been a student of whatever, but whatever number. See, but yet you should still be ashamed of yourself. You shouldn't act that, because you're supposed to be, you as a student of the course should not act that way. Then I go shoulding again. As soon as I start thinking about what somebody should be doing, I'm in judgment. And the judgment is not about you. It's what I'm thinking about you. So back to that. Am I not in the will of God, though, when I'm thinking these thoughts? I have to be, because God's will and my will are still one. Where am I getting the power to do all this? To think. Where am I getting the power? Where's my mind, this mind that I have, coming from? And God is not Santa Claus. I use that all the time now. All the time. People love it. They love it. God is not Santa Claus is going to, judge me if I do it this way, or condemn me if I do it that way. Like you said, and it's written when Jesus said what he said, he didn't go back and say, oh, no, you know what it did say? He escaped their grasp. They were after his behind. Jesus was booking. Oops. They didn't like that. I'm out of here. They didn't like it. But I called it the way I saw it at that moment. At that moment. I love it. I love it. But I'm with you on this. It's there come the moment came for me when the word one meant one. The word one didn't mean anything but one. There is no spot where God is not. No spot. Yes. Yes. And even that, the whole thing, which again, the Jesus, because what Regis put back in the chat was the quote that I had. I'm gonna go back to it. Go back. Go back. How do I do that? Come on, how do I do this? Here it is. Okay. Um, as far as renouncing the role of guardian, if I am using the ego thought system, that's really what this means. If I choose to stop focusing on the ego thought system, then I'll just feel better. I'll just feel better. It doesn't mean that when I am using the ego thought system that I'm not in the will of God. I'm still in the will of God because the same mind of my mind is God's mind. I keep coming up with that one. My mind is God's mind. Where is it? God's will is my will. They're not two wills. My will is God's will. Because as the course teaches, and what God doesn't, what isn't supposed to be, isn't. If it's not supposed to be, it's not. So if it is, something is or was. If I, went and turned over some tables, I went and, smashed out the windows in a store, decided to crash my car into somebody's because I'm angry. I was still in the will of God. It just didn't make me feel good. That's all. I have a choice. I have a choice. When Jesus was running, at that moment, it didn't feel. I mean, unless he ran, unless he did that for exercise and got that runner's high. In the moment, it didn't feel good. That didn't make it wrong. We call it wrong. We're taught that if love is all there is, that means God is all there is. What we call extensions of love or calls for love, it's still all love. It's still all God, no matter what. But we forget that. We forget that. We forget. And the sleep of forgetfulness is the unwillingness to remember. The course tells us we do not guard our thoughts carefully enough. But as you say, we've gotten stuck on what this says. You really ought to change your behavior. Be careful with that. We have to be careful with that. And if it is saying that, the way I get it, if it's asking me, saying you should change your behavior because what you're doing, the way you're doing it right now doesn't feel good to you. The way you're thinking and the way you're acting doesn't feel good to you, and your goal is to feel good. My goal is to recognize that I am love. My goal is to recognize that I am not separate from God. My goal is to recognize that the motivation for my life is peace. As it says the course, the motivation for my life is peace. Peace, peace. And if I'm choosing not to live in a peaceful way, that does not mean that I am not in the will of God. It just means that at that moment, I am not choosing to do things in a peaceful way. I choose to holler. I choose to shout. I choose to fight. I choose to turn over tables. I choose to call you brutal, call you a viper. I choose to say that your father's the devil. It's my choice. It's just choice. It's just choice, but I am still in the will of God. Go ahead, Regis.
Esther Hicks, there's a clip of her, if probably somewhere on YouTube. I was right with her 100%, but she blew some minds one day. You know how they go and sit up in the chair and talk about whatever their situation is. And so this young lady was talking, and whatever they was talking about, the lady mentioned something about getting revenge on someone. And then as fast as the lady said something about getting revenge, the same lady said, "Oh, but I shouldn't do that because revenge is wrong or something." And I said, "Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. How does getting revenge make you feel? If revenge helps you get to a feeling place, you can get to that because she's all about happy. That's really all she's about. If you get it, if you stay, that God's will for me is happiness. If you stay in that state of happiness, everything else take care of itself. That's really all she's teaching. If you just focus on your feeling, being in that space of happiness, in the, as she say, the good feeling place, uh, everything else that you think in this physical world, whether it's real, unreal, or whatever, it just takes care of itself. And so she said, wait a minute, if getting a little revenge helps you feel better for the moment, you move into that vibration of, okay, I don't feel like a victim. I did what I thought I needed to do to not feel like a victim. Uh, Something is telling me, oh, that's revenge. You shouldn't do that. You're getting even. But my will and God's will are one. That's just all it is to it. And I cannot not be in the will of God. But she really shut it down when she said that, because we think the spiritual thing to do is to say, oh, no, Zuma, you shouldn't get revenge. No, that's not love. That's not godly.
Because vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. See, people have taken words in the Bible
and made them a religion.
and made them a religion. And they believe that God's hand came out of the sky and wrote it in the King James, in that form of English.
Yeah.
Because that's the only book that's not copyrighted. There's a whole lot of books out here that aren't copyrighted. That doesn't mean a thing. Copyright laws weren't in effect then, and if copyright laws weren't even in effect then, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. But the God's hand came out the sky and wrote this book through these people's hands. And as much as I can say, well, I don't like that what's written in the Bible. I don't like that's written in the Bible. I don't like that thing that is saying that was okay then, that happened to me. You know where I'm going with this. That happened to me, and that's not okay. The fact is, it was still all the will of God, because what's not supposed to happen doesn't happen. Now, we learn from these things. Again, all things are lessons that life would have me learn. Life/God. All things are lessons that life would have me learn. At some point in my life, I had to decide that I needed to stop focusing, for my own peace, to stop focusing on that thing that I felt was done to me, and come out of the to me stage, come out of the victim stage, and realize that today, if I'm still thinking that way, it's because I am making myself a victim. I am choosing to relive, to replay something that's already there. And the Course says, let go of what's gone, let go of it, because it's already gone. And once I made that choice, once I decided that no longer served me, being a victim, that thinking in victim mentality didn't serve me anymore, then I was able to be in a place to help others who feel the same way. Because peace is the goal for me anyway today. And it's funny you mentioned the revenge thing. I used to have a coworker, and he used to say, I said, does that really feel good? Because I was thinking that way. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Does that really feel good to you? He says, yeah, it does. And I couldn't say anything. I had no comeback for that. I had no comeback. Now, I have to admit, I was thinking judgmentally, oh, I can't believe it. I have to admit to that. But I had no comeback for that. What am I supposed to say? No, it doesn't feel good. So now I'm going to tell you how you feel. I had to walk away. And that moment was for this moment, for this conversation that we're having right now. That moment was for this, because we never know when we're going to get something starts over here. We don't know where we're going. But that was for this moment, and I appreciate that, Regis. Thank you so very much, because it's the truth. It's all God's will. And this is why I substitute the word God for life, because we tend to think, I used to think that, God was this being that was going to, that was sitting back telling me, you shouldn't do that. Life doesn't do that. Life has never told the person who stunted the growth of what's now called the bonsai tree, one of the most beautiful, you know, revered trees for, as far as purchase, very expensive to purchase. And it would have been as tall as a General Sherman, but somewhere along the way, the growth was stunted. Man decided to stunt it and form it and shape it, the bonsai tree. And I have yet to hear of anybody being punished for creating the bonsai tree. You stunted, you stopped God's will. You stopped that from being what it was supposed to be. No, it's supposed to be what it is, because it is what it is. We say it, we don't know what it means. It is what it is. Therefore, it is what it is. What? It has to be God's will. God's will is always done on earth as it is in heaven. It always is. But the way it reads, God's will be done. We forget or don't know that there were no punctuation marks. There were no, I don't know if it was capitals and small letters and back then, but there were no punctuation marks. There was no period, comma, semicolon to say where this started and where that stopped. We don't know if the translation, if the act, what it meant what it actually meant was quote quote lost in the translation. We don't know that, because Lord knows, I know that God did not come out the sky and write in King James fashion. I know that. That I know. That I know.
And that's why, like the lessons, the workbook lessons, they are to be practiced now.
Now. Mm-hmm.
Not in retro, not in comparison to how I want to perform in the future, not holding it up against what I did in the past, whether the past is 2 minutes from now or 2 seconds from now or 2 years from now. The lessons ought to be done in the now. That's all. That's just practice the lesson. No matter what your belief system was, no matter what you think your belief system may become, just practice the lesson now.
No. Yes.
And that's when we read anything, the text, the manual for teachers, the Bhagavad Gita or whatever, it's now. Is not to be held up against a previous behavior or a previous action or some imagined future action. I don't know whenever I can ever be able to release my children completely. What about right now? Mm-hmm. See, we go right into, I don't know if I ever grow to that space where I'll be able to just,
No peace. There's no peace in that.
No peace.
There's no peace. No peace in that. That's
No
exactly
peace.
it. No peace. But my goal is peace.
Yeah.
My goal is peace. And if I look back and say, you know what? I remember when I used to but today my thought system is different, and therefore blah, 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 and I have peace. That's the only comparison, to know that I sure have come a long way.
Yep.
And I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful. We are over time. We are out of time by a whole minute. So we're good. Thank you so much, Regis, my brother. Thank you.
You are good. There's nobody coming on after you, so you could just go over time as much as you like. But
well, not too much overtime. Got things to do. Got a puppy to bathe and stuff. Got stuff to do. But it's just unbelievable. And I listen. There's a at least one of the study groups I think I'm going to stop participating in altogether. And it's not a gather group, but because I keep hearing the same thing over and over. Uh, I, every week, it sounds so intellectual, but not practical. Uh, there are one or two people who are revered because they sound so whatever. And I'm sitting there now I'm bored. See, and I don't do well when I'm bored. Oh Lord, I don't do well when I'm bored. I don't no. I can very easily turn around and pull a book out of my own. And if I want to, get uplifted, I don't have to. And if that doesn't do it, I can turn on some music and just go dance. You know, and if that doesn't do it, I can play with Lovable. I don't have to. There are no rules to what's supposed to be right for me. There are no shoulds about what's supposed to be right for me. Everything is what it is. It's something you said, Regis, something you said about comparing the past. I forgot. There are no shoulds. It's not my place to should on you. And if I do, I'm still in the will of God. I just haven't figured out how to be in peace with it yet. I can't, as you say, I can't not be in the will of, can't. There is no spot where God is not omnipresent. What does that mean? Omni means everywhere, everything, everywhere, all the time. Even in one group or another. Oh no, well, that thing is not real. No, my thought about it is not real. It's not the thing. Are we not having a conversation right now? Is this not real in this moment? Now, if an hour from now, a week from now, I'm like, oh, dang, I wonder why I said that. I shouldn't have said that. I can't believe we just said that. Now, that's what's not real. Me trying to bring something that's already gone, like the sanitation department coming and taking the trash, and then me looking in the can, thinking, it's gone. Accept what I can't change, change what I can, if I want to. If I want to, because there's some people say, I know, I know I should, like the person with revenge. But basically, what they're saying, I know I'm not at peace, and I'm choosing to stay that way right now. How does Karen say? Be willing to just look at that. Be willing to know that you're not willing, and be at peace with it. Because for me, the goal is still peace. I know what it is to live to think in turmoil. I know what that. Been there, done that. Could write a book about it. Been there, done that, and could write a book about it. And today, I'm where I am. I'm in a peaceful place, and I can write a book about that. Given to me in the form of Mondays and Thursdays from during this time. I'm so grateful. I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful. And it doesn't mean that every moment is a great moment. Was thinking about something that, I wish this had, I don't understand why they didn't do this, that, and the other. And I thought, oh, Zulma, listen to you. How does that feel? It just doesn't feel good. And it doesn't mean that could, because that particular writing can't be, it's not, it's already out. It's not editable. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean I still don't wish that had been a different way, but I accept the fact that I wish that had been a different way, that it's not going to be a different way, and I accept. That's I'm recognizing I've gone into wish world, but I'm recognizing that being in wish world does not feel good to me. I get all of that. It all comes full circle. It's not that I wish I didn't go to wish world. That happened automatically. I went in the wish world automatically. I couldn't change that. What I can change is the way I think about having gone into wish world. And when that happens again, I might go into wish world again. It happen again, and I may very well go there again. But today, today there's peace. Today, I'm speaking for myself, and today there's peace. There was something in the chat. Regis, if you are willing, but he came back to that particular passage from what I was from the quote that was up.
But what's the last part of that sentence after the comma? I will correct it very gently. and
Gently,
lead you back to God.
gently,
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. See,
gently.
when we're trying to correct the thought system, it's not gentle. We don't feel good. We feel bad. We feel defeated, rejected, all the things that are fear and not love. Yeah, all those emotions. But I will gently correct it. We just
Gently.
notice it. Oh, I notice, I'm okay with it. In spirit, God in me will gently give me a transitional thought out of that. I can't
Yes.
give it to myself, and all I can do is just beat myself up with uh, whatever teaching I'm reading, whether it's A Course in Miracles, the Bible, or whatever. It can be Ernest Holmes
Yeah.
or whoever. If I'm just taking that teach and trying to correct myself with it, I'm trying to correct my own thought system with it, and I'm holding myself up against it. And again, as you say, in comparison, I'm comparing myself to what I'm reading, and that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to me. Of course, the miracles say you must first recognize that you're miserable before you can, and so I don't even think sometimes we understand or recognize that we're creating misery. The thought system, like I can think, somebody was telling me, well, I know that they talking about me at work and they plotting. I'm like, how do you know that?
Well, I heard.
It's just no, they ain't even hurting them. It's just my idea.
Oh,
It's just,
yeah.
yeah. I
Mhm,
just,
mhm.
I just feel like. Then when you say, well, how you know that? Well, I just feel like, you know, what's the basis of that idea? My own, and my ideas don't always make me happy. Oh, I'm going to Walmart to buy a item, but they probably won't have it. Well, how does that
Right?
make you feel? How does
So
that? Um,
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I remember a coworker coming up to me. You don't have change for a $20 bill, do you? And I said, are you asking me if I have change for 20? And he said, that's what I said. That's not what he said. He said, you don't have change for a $20 bill, do you?
Cause see, I won't change, but I'm telling myself nobody will have it. I'm a victim. I need change for a 20. Nobody has it. And I want you to validate that story. I really don't want you to say yes. What I really want you to do is validate that I'm a victim. What I need and want is never available.
Never available. Never available. And we don't realize that our thoughts have power. Our words have power. We're creating our own world all the time.
Yeah,
All the time.
yeah,
And it's funny because it took a minute going back and forth with him, but you knew what I meant. That's true. But that's not what you said. You asked me, you said to me with a don't you on the end that I don't have it,
right.
which suggests to me that you believe I don't have it. And he
Because there's a story. The bigger story is I'm a victim. I'm in the world. The world doesn't provide me what I need. It's not
exactly.
safe. Things never work out for me. And so that plays out. Like us needing change for a 20, or I need to go to Walmart to get a screw, or go to Home Depot to get a screw, but they won't have the screw that I want, you know. And
And I'm waste my time going to Walmart and all that. And then
yeah,
if they have it, you don't even and you don't even oh well, I guess that makes you feel good. Oh, they do have it. Now I feel good from the thoughts that I had made myself feel bad with.
yeah, yeah,
That's whew, I make myself feel, and I've heard people say that. Well, I look at it um uh that way so that I don't get disappointed. But I say, well, aren't you already disappointing yourself with the thought that it might
yep,
not be whatever it is? that became a conversation. Well, you have a point there. And then they say, but okay. Conversation has been had. I look, I laugh when they come back sometime. You know what? That what we're talking about. I find myself doing that more, and now I am. That's there you go. Does it make you feel better? That's all I'm
Yeah.
asking. Does it
Yeah.
make you feel better? I'm
Yeah.
not saying you have to change it. I'm just telling you that as a belief system, what worked for me is to stop saying, Ernest Holmes says, uh, uh, turn away from the condition. Stop looking at what you don't. Stop saying what you don't want.
Yeah.
Stop saying what you don't want, because the universe doesn't hear no. The universe is always saying yes. The universe always says yes. The grass always keeps growing. It's dormant in the winter, but it always keeps growing. The sun always keeps shining. It doesn't say no. It doesn't say no. So when we're thinking, oh, I sure hope that it doesn't rain. Why? What I could have said. I mean, I sure hope it's a sunny day. I want a sunny day. Why am I talking about the rain? Why am I talking about what I don't want? You don't have change for a $20 bill, do you? Why am I talking about? Why am I saying what I don't want? And yet there's still some people that I know who they try to justify why they do that. And I decided stop trying to convince them
Yeah.
that they should stop, because
Yeah.
now it's still about my peace, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to convince them that that what they're doing is not beneficial to them, but I get to sit back and see it not be beneficial to them, and
Yeah.
when they tell me that such and such didn't work out, and you know sometimes they said I knew it wouldn't, and I say I understand why you knew it wouldn't.
Yeah. Because
They planned it.
really it is not arrogance or sarcasm, because I really have gratitude, because you're showing me you're still I accept that moment, those moments that you're talking about with other, because you're showing me still, reminding me of who I am, reminding me of how I think, reminding me of what I say, or the power in my words, in my thoughts. So I just kind of like have a gentle smile, like, okay, you know, I'm going to the store, but they probably won't have what I want. Okay,
I'm going to
thank
Facebook.
you.
I'm going to
Thank,
Facebook
thank you
after
for
this.
thank you for saying that in front of me, because you're giving me an opportunity to look within at my thought system and turn my thought system over to the Holy Spirit for whatever it needs correction, or whatever it needs. And so it's still all love, And like you say, I will allow you to experience what you experience in the way that you're experiencing it. And it actually helps people like, oh, they probably won't have it. They probably won't. you know? So now, are you still going to go since they probably won't have it?
Waste my time. Waste my time going. Waste my time going someplace, like going to Home Depot to buy ice cream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh my goodness. And and it was me. I look at that. Like you said, it gives me an opportunity to see my own growth, where my piece is, how they're not holding theirs, but what they're doing is not really my business. But I get to see how to better hold my peace. Oh yeah, there you go, asking for something I don't want. That's the first thing I say. Oh, I hope that's the one. That's the one. I hope such and such doesn't happen. I sure hope. I sure hope I don't have an accident. Driving on. I sure hope you better be careful, because you might have an accident. And they didn't think about accident until you brought it up. By the way,
right.
they didn't even think about that until you brought it up. And I have and that you I caught myself saying, why are you talking about me having an accident? Well, I'm saying I'm hoping you don't have one. Why are you bringing up an accident? I've done that. Because
Yeah,
and some people get it like, oh, and others they still want to.
Yeah.
Be careful. I said, oh, I'll be prayerful. Thank you. They heard careful. I'll be prayerful. Thank you. You know, yeah. It's good for me to be in what I consider to
The
be a
world is
better
a safe
place
place.
in terms of the way
Yeah.
I think. Yes, it's just better for me.
Yeah.
For me. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful when I forget to when I forget to remember. Oh, wait. I thought I had that. Thought I had that down pat.
Yeah.
Oops. That's what the ego calls that slipping in. What is it? It basically in the 12-step program they call it insidious. They call it cunning, baffling, and powerful.
Yeah.
Cunning, baffling, and powerful. It's exactly that. It kind of slips in there, and you don't know how I got there. And I think I know. I think I know now. I think I've gotten to the holy place. I'm there now. You see, I'm there. Sleepy
Now
together.
I tell you how I did it to myself here in my new location in Pueblo, Colorado. So I applied in Colorado. Unlike Tennessee, Tennessee is no, you don't have to do anything but apply. But in Colorado, you have to be uh, I don't know what's the right word I'm trying to use, but you have to get certified by the state to even be a substitute teacher in the school system. You have to go through a rigorous background check, and then you get a certificate that says you can teach and sub teach in the public schools. So I applied for it. Okay, so of course, my lovely wife is always reminding me, did you check on it? Did you hear from them? Did you? and so, and I normally tell them, no, I don't check. When they want me, they'll let me know. It did get to a place where I was really tempted to pull the trigger and withdraw my application. I just got scared. I just thought something wrong. My background check not gonna fly, or even though I know I don't have a past,
Right?
but I don't have a criminal past. But I'm like, I was at the website and I was gonna click the button and say I withdraw my request, and then I'm like, what am I doing? Holy Spirit, I just leave this to you. I shut it down and went on about my business. And of course, last week they said, "Oh, you've been approved. You got your certificate." But why would I make myself miserable with that
Why
and
do we do that?
and go down that rabbit hole? And
And that's an important question we have to ask ourselves.
it's
That's
just,
an important question we have
but
to ask ourselves.
you
Why
allow
am I
it.
making myself miserable? Why am I
Yeah.
choosing to make myself miserable? That's a good, and it usually comes from something in our past. Somebody told us that we weren't this, good, and that, or in our present, whatever. It's not gonna, or we brought it from the past, and we
Hmm.
have taken on that thought system.
Hmm.
But it's a good question, and if we don't, an untrained mind accomplishes nothing. That's what the mind training is. I don't have to think that way anymore. Although yet thinking that way made that letter or notification feel so much better. Thinking that it might not happen, going into that paranoid moment made that moment when they said yes feel that much better. Yeah, of course, then you start asking, like, I don't even know why I took myself through that. But at the same time, it made it feel better because we went into wish world to the bad place, and it made the good place feel better. Now, all that though is talking about is hierarchies.
Yeah.
It's
And
still.
yeah.
Go ahead.
And the continuation of a victim story was right there, ready, because I would have sabotaged it by withdrawing it. But you know what my story would have been after that? And I recognize this. My story would have been, oh, Colorado is so difficult, and all I wanted to do is substitute teaching. They want you to jump through hoops and do this and do that. And I never, but see, that's, if I had to pull the trigger, that would have been my story.
Yes.
And I recognize that. But it's allowing the Holy Spirit to very gently correct the thought system. And I can see and allow and be okay, and not, oh, woe is me. I shouldn't have thought like that. I should have, no, everything is, all of this life is just symbols, and it's revealing something way bigger than job, no job, accepted or not accepted. Tracy and I, we was having a big conversation about that. I said, we're supposed to say what we want to say and let ourselves feel what we feel, but we don't have to get stuck there.
That's it.
Okay, they're doing all this stuff on your job. Vent, if you call it venting, call it getting it off your chest, whatever. All right, now, why are you so upset about it? Is the question. Why does it matter?
And that's what makes it affect you. What makes it affect you is how you let it matter. Exactly.
Right.
The value we give it.
What's the story that you really telling? Oh, well, I don't want them to think I'm stupid or incompetent. I don't want them to think I'm a lazy worker. Well, why? But if they do think you're a lazy worker, why do you care so much that they think you're a lazy worker? Why does that have such a profound effect over you? That someone would think less of you? Wayne Dyer, my great mentor, he taught me well, be independent of the good opinion of others. Sometimes it's not even the negative chatter. See, we think, well, what you think about me is none of my business. But really, the greater thought is, I want everybody to think well of me. I want everybody to like me. I want everybody to think I'm responsible. I want everybody to think I'm competent and capable. That's really the hook, more so than being concerned about the negative chatter. Why am I so addicted to people thinking well of me?
Right.
Do I think well of myself?
Exactly.
And my birthday lesson is so perfect for me. That lesson is just so profound for me because it's really the air I breathe. It's the words, it's the way I speak, it's how I approach people in myself, in everything. I am the beloved child of God in whom he's well pleased. And it's not performance based. So
right.
I'm not in this world, in this body experience, concerned about people thinking well of me. That's a big weight off your shoulders. If I speak at a church, if I speak in Zoom, I'm speaking. Like it, don't like it. Think it's crazy, think I'm crazy. It's like,
it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. And I'm not be independent of the good opinion of others. Yeah. We're so dependent and codependent on people thinking well of us. We don't worry nearly as much about somebody gossiping about us or doing stuff like that. Really, the addiction is our addiction to people liking us and thinking well of us, or thinking we're cute, or thinking we're handle our money well, or thinking, just thinking that's the hook. And then when that's not the hook, well, it don't matter. I tell Trace, I'm like, you still gonna get the check. I said, everybody that we have talked about on our jobs, that we have said was stupid, incompetent, didn't know what they was doing, they kept showing up to work, they kept getting paid, they kept their position, and us sitting here making ourselves miserable, talking about how incompetent they are. See, we can upset ourselves over Donald Trump every day, all day. This man been convicted of 34 felonies, all kind of stuff, and he's still there.
Still there.
He's still running for president.
Still running for president.
He's still the top Republican candidate.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So me sitting here making myself miserable, talking to you about him, what is that?
Doesn't help you at all. Doesn't help at all. Not a bit. Not a bit. And it's not a bit. And that's a conversation I have with my young one. Well, so what difference does that make? What they think? Does what they eat fill your belly? That's always that's people get that. Now they
I
understand
love
that.
that.
Bring it to make it tangible. Does what they eat fill your belly? I always say, if you eat liver, I'm not going to vomit. You know, what they eat fill your belly? If that's not the case, same thing. I said, what they think, what does that do to you? Unless you attach yourself to the thought. That's what does something to you. Your attachment to the thought. That's what does it. And she gets it. She gets it. She gets it. I love it. She's actually sharing some of this with some people. And I told her, I said, it's not yours to keep. It's yours to share.
Yeah.
It's yours to share.
Yeah.
It's working. She's been in my world since she was 8 years old. And I love listening to her. I love listening to her talk about things that we have talked about. You know, when she says it, I know, I get that. It's good. She's 23 now. She's been in my world since she's 8. She's my neighbor. She's my neighbor down the street. Great girl. Great girl. She's doing well, and she's learning the thing. And I'll say, oh, that's some pretty good analysis there. How's that feel? How's it working for you? How's it working for you? What did Lynn write in the chat? I want to be miserable because it makes me special. We prepare for disappointment. And yes, the whole world's a stage. We're making the whole thing up.
Yeah.
We're writing these scripts. We are writing these scripts of things that we don't want, and then get upset about the script that we wrote.
Right.
We get upset when we get what we don't want. We get upset when we don't get what we don't want, because now we made ourselves wrong.
Right.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. But I had to be, it wasn't supposed to happen this way, but it did. Now what?
Yeah.
Over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because the sleep of forgetfulness is the unwillingness to remember. Not guarding my thoughts carefully enough. If I want peace, then that's the direction I should be going in. And that's what I say to her. You want peace? Move in that direction. What do you believe is going to give you peace? Let's start with that. What do you think is going to give you peace?
Mm-hmm.
And whatever. Do that. Do that. Yeah, but no. Do that. You want peace? What's this? It's a passage in the course about means to an end. If you want this end, but you don't want to do what it takes to get there, then just admit that you're inconsistent.
Yeah. I've watched the ego when it's at home say, I need to be working. I need more money. I need to. And then when it's at work, I need to be at home. I need to be spending time with my family.
Yep. Not happy anywhere. No matter what. Just don't want to be happy.
And at some point, you got to catch on. You know, you got to just like, wait a minute.
We do it. But I mean, I've only been this age today. Right. This age, whatever number that is,
Right.
I can use that number right up until the 21st of August. And then on the 22nd, I can change the number. But every day, I only have one June 3rd, 2024. Just one.
Right.
Whatever I am today, whatever systems I have today, I'm having them. A lot of them I'm having for the first time. A lot of these things are just for the first time. A lot of these things I come to realize today. Oh, what weren't Regis not just talking about that? And here I am, later on, it could very well later on today. It could be anything. Thought maybe something I want to eat and thought I still had more of it and don't, and wish I still had more of it and don't, or forgot something that's in there that may have, oh, wait, that's way back in, and then feel bad about the fact, why didn't I eat that? You know what I mean? It could be something as simple as that.
Yep.
Because the sleep of forgetfulness, we focus. This is why it's written, don't judge by appearances.
Right.
Don't judge by appearances. Don't judge by appearances. Make a righteous judgment. That's the thing about righteous judgment. I took a class based on a book titled Unveiling Your Hidden Power the book is by Ruth L. Miller, but she's talking about the 12 lessons of Emma Curtis Hopkins. And she brings up, she makes a whole couple of pages, 2, 3 pages about that whole righteous judgment. Because we're taught don't judge, don't judge, don't judge. But it's written in the Bible. Make a righteous judgment. It's a different. It's seeing things. It's seeing it, because even when I am choosing to recognize the God in you, I'm choosing to recognize the God in you. That's a choice. That means that I am judging you, righteous judgment, judging you as God. That's righteous judgment. I am choosing to see you as you are, as an extension of me. That's a righteous
Namaste.
judgment. Namaste, right. That's a righteous judgment.
Yeah.
There's still a judgment. Because in the next minute, you could say something like, and I thought I thought we were on the same page.
I thought you were a Christian. I thought you.
Or an absolute practicing student of the course, or a religious science practititioner. You're a licensed practitioner. How can I not? That's some stuff. Before I was any of that, I was a baby named Zulma Gonzalez. And everything that mommy, daddy, teachers, friends, neighbors, all of that is still in there. It's still in there. And I don't know when that's gonna jump up. Because
Right.
mommy said it, because daddy said it, because that man did it, because whatever. I don't know what moment that's gonna pop up, which is why we can't analyze the motives of another, as it talks about chapter 12. We can't, it's always what I think about the thing, it's never the thing. That's why I can't judge by appearances, because it's never the thing. It's always my thoughts about the thing. If I want to look at anything, the only thing I can look at are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Are my thoughts. I was putting the 235 on the slide. Where is that? I was putting 235 on a PowerPoint slide. I haven't given it the pretty yet, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm just going to share it because you brought it up. Share, Zulma. Share. Just the first part of it right now. I'll make it pretty. Send me a picture that you would want on there.
Okay.
I'm gonna put your picture on there. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay.
All right.
Because that's it. I just need to look at it and assure myself. Look at what seems to hurt me. And there's that word seem. That's an important word.
Yeah.
That's a very, very, very important word. Things that seem to hurt me. In fact, I'm gonna highlight that in red or make the word red, because that in itself, yeah, and take the color back off. All right, that seem to hurt me. because nothing is really hurting you except your thoughts. God wills that I be saved from this. And it disappears. Hello. Change your thinking, change your life. When the thought changes, everything around it changes. When you move the mobile just a little bit, the whole thing moves.
Right. And just like I was saying with Esther Hicks, you just get into happy. You just get into that good feeling place and everything takes care of itself. Now it says, I need but remember. It didn't say go fix the thought. It didn't say nothing about you need to stop that thought. Whatever it is that seemed to hurt me, it didn't say nothing about trying to see it differently and trying to twist my mind and twist my emotions to feel another way about it. It's just said, assure myself that God wills that I be saved from this.
Whatever I highlighted in green in my book, whatever I highlighted in green on the Kindle, that's the doing part. Do
Yeah.
this. That's the go.
Yeah.
Go. Yep. I do that. I underline in red, green.
So whatever seems to hurt me, I don't have to judge it. I don't have to say it shouldn't or should or should not be. All I need to do, I be saved from this, and merely watch them disappear. I need but keep in mind my Father's will for me is only happiness, to find that only happiness has come. So I'm not fixing my mind and trying to make myself reconstruct whatever it is that seems to hurt me at all. I'm just letting it be.
Mm-hmm.
But oh, this seems to be bad. Well, God wills that I be saved from it. I just need to remember God's will for me is happiness. Now, I don't know how this situation gonna turn out. I don't know if it's gonna go in what I think is my favor or not in my favor, my way or not my way. That's not. I don't deal with any of that. All I know is happy, happy, happy.
That's it. That's it.
God's will for me is happiness, and that's my part. That's my part. With perfect certainty, assure myself, God wills that I be saved from this, and just with and then that brings in the end of the sentence that you started with today. I will correct it very gently and lead you back to God.
Mm-hmm.
It's not me beating myself up and trying to just, if somebody stole all my money, like I said, when we came to Pueblo, and after we agreed to the movers and a certain amount of money that it would cost to get us here, it just kept going up, 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 up.
Did it make you move? I'm just
it's so God's will for me is happiness. I'm in a relationship, so of course she have her perspective, she have her own fears and her own panic, and so we have to talk about this stuff. I can't just ignore her and what she's experiencing. So we have to talk about, and that's the beauty of relationships. It's easy when it's just me, and I can believe God and trust God however I want to, but I have to address issues, and I like it because
it strengthens your faith.
Yeah, because, and that's what it got down to. I said, but I have the money. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, really.
Paying the money haven't stopped me from being a giver. It hadn't stopped me from taking my wife out to dinner. It hadn't stopped me from giving big tips to be a blessing to waiters and waitresses, it hadn't stopped me from doing anything. So what I allowed it to show me, God's will for me is happiness. God wills that I be saved from this. God didn't step in some mystical way and they lower the price back down. We said your will be done, but we really know how we want that to turn out.
Make it my will, please.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Since my will and yours are one,
yeah.
make mine.
And this is how you do it. This is how you do it. And so that didn't happen. But
Again, because it was a thing, it was it wasn't the thing. It was your thoughts about the thing. Or in this
right,
case, her thoughts about the thing. But you also had, but you knew you had thoughts about the thing too. I see Lynn's hand. Go ahead, Lynn.
yeah,
Yeah, this is a great conversation. I've just been enjoying the heck out of hearing you all uh, uh, talking about this stuff. It's amazing, like impromptu and perfect. And what I was going to say, I was listening to a little bit of Joel Goldsmith again this morning, and of course he's talking about supply. And he says, all things are God's things. All money is God's money. If I have to give more of God's money to someone else, what does that matter? It's not my money in the first place. And it's here for a reason, a purpose. That purpose is here to serve God's will. So those movers are here to serve God's will and bring Regis here and all that business. Regis is here for God's will to help those movers out. Apparently they needed more money than what they thought they needed. And so, Regis, being that I'm just a open channel here, and I'm just going to let myself flow in a way that's natural, then of course, in the natural way of flowage, you don't block that, you don't yell about it, you don't stop that, you just let it go. And that's what you did. And that was a blessing to the movers, that was a blessing to you, that was a blessing to the entire community, because the whole community is enriched by your presence here. So, whatever it is, it don't belong to you in the first place. So, if God wants someone else to have it, it's going to go to them. Why cry and worry about it? Because do you think God's storehouse is just empty? And
yeah.
it's just like there's nothing more there for you? No, it's endless, boundless. Of course, there's more and more and more. Everything I need is sufficient for me, because that's how God wills for me. So I appreciate that so much, Regis, because I'm the same way too. That's not going to stop me from, buying presents for my friends or going out for dinner or giving a tip, or, sometimes it makes me give a bigger tip. When I feel like I'm in greater need, I think if I feel like I'm in greater need, this other person might be feeling like they're in greater need too. Let me give them an extra $5 tip. That's just how it works for me. And by being open to giving, I have everything I need, and if I don't need it, I don't have it. What's the point? So thank you guys for this great conversation. I love you both so much.
Yeah,
I
got a
shared with
song.
a I shared
Go
with a
ahead, Regis.
minister one time that uh, I said to him, and it just kind of blew his mind. I'm like, if someone is telling me a lie because they think I have resources that they want, I have money, and they don't have money, and they give me this big story, I said, I'll still give them the money. I said, I know they lying. I don't care. I said, they're just lying because they don't think they can just ask me for the money. And the compassion and the love looks beyond the lie to see, we love to see he looked beyond my faults and saw my need. Well, why don't
Yeah.
you, sir?
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
we love to like Jesus. He looked beyond my faults and saw my need. Well, Christ is in you. Why don't you
That's
look
right.
beyond that? A guy rang my doorbell last week. Tracy had gone somewhere, and I was here by myself. And I was sitting right where I'm sitting now, and the doorbell rang. And he went into a story. I mean, I said, stop. I don't want to hear all that. How much money do you want? You know, I'm like, let me go get you some money. You know, I said I would get you a 10, and then I got a 20. I said, well, here's a 20. I, look, that you're knocking on my door, you ringing my doorbell because you wanting help. I don't care what your story is. The story is you need help. You know, that's the story. That's all that, you know, I don't, you don't, sir, you don't have to tell me all that. You're asking for help, and I'm gonna help you. You know, I did. Now, when I gave him the 20, I said, Bill, what made you knock on my door? All these, you know, I did ask him that. Yeah,
Deep calls unto deep. Ernest Holmes wrote, deep calls unto deep. Deep calls unto deep. Namaste.
namaste.
If it's all God and if it's all one mind,
Yeah,
what made him knock on your door? Because he knew that that's where he was going to get the help. He didn't know that he knew, but that's where the help was going to be. Didn't have to, and he may have gone to other doors. May
yeah.
not have
He
gone to
said
his
he
door
did. Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah,
You know, but yeah, could have skipped over a door. Oh, that's one less person. I wasn't expecting that. I was
yeah,
only expecting $5, and I got 20. You know,
yeah.
that's 3 more doors I don't have to go to. You know, yeah, yeah. We got other hands up. Let's see what's going on. Go ahead, Karen. Karen. Hi, my Karen. Look at
Hey, people, can you
you,
hear me?
sunglasses and stuff. Look at you.
I'm
Look at
outside.
you.
I'm outside. I was driving, listening to you guys. I just got to my destination. I don't know. My background's still on. Anyway, I just wanted to say I like this. It's like the Regis and Zulma show or the Zulma and Regis show. I don't know how you want to do it, but what's that? Regis and Kelly. I'd say
Yeah,
Zulma and Regis. Zulma
yeah,
and Regis.
yeah,
So I'm liking the
Alphabetically, it
Zulma
has to be
and
Regis
Regis
first.
show. Okay, Regis and Zulma. How's that? I
yeah.
like
And
it. That's
Karen.
all I
And
wanted to
Karen.
say. Love you guys.
I love you too. So, so that's funny. That's funny. We have Cindy, we have Lynn. It's just a wonderful show, including Karen. Go ahead, Cindy.
I like what you said just now, Regis. When I learned that lesson, I was reading Conversations with God, and he was saying that when there's a need and you see it, and uh, he was talking about a homeless person, and so said that I reached in my pocket and I was going to give him a 5, but he goes, all I could find was a 20. And so he was fumbling around looking for the 5, but by that time he had left, he had passed the homeless guy. And so he's like going, I felt bad because I couldn't give him any money and I didn't want to turn around. And then the homeless guy there was no blessing for him. And so from that, reading that, I can't walk past a homeless person without just immediately, whatever comes out of my pocket or my purse or my wallet, I don't even think about it anymore. I just give it to them, because it's that thought of not trusting and knowing that there's plenty of everything for everybody if you notice it and you live by it. And so thank you for bringing that up. I just wanted to throw that out. And the other thing was, earlier in your conversations when you were talking about, I think it was choice, or how you let's see, how, anyway, what I want to say is, it made me think of, if you're familiar with Winnie the Pooh, you can take on an attitude of Eeyore, that goes through life with his head down and thanks for noticing, and so nothing really good comes upon him because he's always got his head down and he's always thinking the worst will happen, compared to Tigger, which is always on top of it, bouncing around, just just so happy. So those were anyway, those 2 characters came to my mind, and they're both extremes. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. That's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do want to play a song. Going back to what the whole thing about, the money and the whole giving thing. And if it's all God, and I can't say that part enough. If it's all God, money is God in form. That's how it's written in one of my spiritual uh, uh, principles. Money is God in form. Lynn mentioned it earlier from Joe Goldsmith. It's all God. Money is God in form. Person knocking on the door was God in form. Whoever the God in form. I went to California last October, and I generally don't carry cash. And with the people I was with, the lady I was with, PJ, we're walking, and there was a homeless person who did not ask, but she went in her pocket and gave the man some money. And actually, she gave him a $5 bill, which really caught my attention because the most I've ever given like that on purpose is $1. Um, and I said, oh, that was kind of you. And she said something to the effect that if she has it to give and she sees that there's someone who has the need, which what you said earlier, Rita, has the need, she just gives it. So she makes it a point, intentional about carrying uh dollar bills. And since then, I have become intentional about carrying and it's interesting. So I'm with my young one the other day, and somebody had walked up. And we were on the subway train, and he had asked. I said, I said I don't. She said she did like no, and I said I don't have it either. I said, oh wait a minute, I might. And I went in my bag and found $1, and I gave it to him, and he said thank you, and he kind of stood there for a minute. And I think that she got uncomfortable because there are people who worry about the fact that since they know you have money, now they're going to try to take your wallet, that kind of thing. But that never occurred to me. It never occurred to me. It never occurred to me. The song I want to play is, but thank you, brother. I got it. Um, um, the song I want to play, another song by Eddie Watkins Jr. Wait a minute, trying to do what I said I was going to do. I need a moment. Okay. Okay,
She's
that's
doing
done.
that, Regis. I was going to tell you, Nigel is in the Pal Talk room. Nigel is here.
I saw the chat where it was asking where he was, and somebody had said he had been there earlier and all that. I saw that. Okay, back to Zoom, back to share. I'll turn that off. Back to share, and make sure share sound and song.
When you give, when you receive, when you give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what to whom? When we give, who's giving what to whom? When we receive, who's giving what to whom? When we give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what to whom? Trusting in the law of circulation, knowing that it is as we believe. At the level of our faith, we release and make it so. At the level of our giving, we receive. Oh, when we give, who's giving what to whom? When we receive, who's giving what to whom? When we give, know that God is all there is. So who's giving what
That's it. That's it. Who's giving what to whom? If God is all there is, then who's giving what to whom? What's happening here? It's always me doing it to myself. It's always me doing it to myself. Isn't that what we touch? There's nothing out there. There's nothing out there. It's always right here. I so appreciate you hanging out with me, brother. Um, we're going to do 3 whole more minutes. Well, no, actually, we have to give Lynn time to turn the thing on and off in case there's somebody else coming. It's 57 after the hour, which meant we have you and I and everybody else here. We did another 57 minutes. Somebody, I was supposed to meet somebody. They just sent me a message that I'm out. Okay, bye. This is where I wanted to be. This is where I needed to be. This is where I enjoy being. Oh, well, they have to deal with that. And so it is. And so it is. It's been good. Cindy, thank you for joining us. Karen, glad you're here. You look great. I gotta Regis, Regis, how you have to show me how to do that? And I want to talk to you about right after this, if possible. I got the second screen, but I'm on a laptop and it's different. There's a difference. I think I have to get another extra cord. Anyway, because it won't let me see this. It lets me see either one or the other. Won't let me see both, or it lets me see them doing the same thing, but not 2 different things. But if you don't mind, I could talk to you right after this. But with that, family, friends, let's see if I can find one more quote, maybe for the whole minute while to do this nicely and neatly. I am going back to my screen, but I'm not ready to share that yet. We talked about Tracy. We left it with there's no strain in doing God's will. Let's go back to the last quote that we had. There is no strain in doing God's will as soon as you recognize that it's your own. As soon as you recognize that it is your own. Right there. I'm going to leave it right there. And with that, Lynn, we turn this mic over to you.
Thank you so much. What a fun time this has been. I'm so grateful and joyful for all of you all. And wow, what a great, it's already Monday is turning out to be much better than I expected. So hooray, hooray, hooray. I love you all. And we'll see you all later.